It's probably most common for one or the other of a couple to come to a seminar that I give or to purchase the book, and they read it and they go, oh, this is so great, and then they want their other spouse, their husband or their wife, to do it too. And for some reason they just don't quite get the same vision of the teaching self-government method of running a home because they haven't heard it before, or they just weren't there to understand all the ins and outs of it. And so they explain it to them, but still they just don't really care. And so people will ask me, well, how do I get my husband on board? Or how do I get my wife to want to do this? Well, here's the thing. You can't get somebody else to want to do anything. Unfortunately, that's just one of those things in life. And if you try to force it or manipulate it or give guilt trips or shake your head and tell them they've done everything wrong and that kind of thing, then not only will they really not care about doing it, but your relationship with them will become worse. And if your relationship with your spouse isn't good, then your relationship with your children suffers as well. And you're also not in the right frame of mind to correct your children when they need proper correction as well. So the very best thing that you can do, and I know this because my husband and I learned all these great skills. We adapted them to our life. We did great things when we did foster parenting. Well, all of a sudden we stopped doing foster parenting one day. And my husband thought, oh great, I don't have to talk as much, it's going to be so much easier, I don't have to do these meetings anymore, because he really associated everything that we were doing just with the foster children, and didn't decide that it was something that he necessarily cared about for the long term for the family. So he stopped caring about meetings, stopped caring about doing the proper teaching, and he got really frustrated. In fact, he got really pretty down, but no matter how much I would say, he just was like, yeah, but that's so much work. That's just so much harder than just, I don't know what, just yelling at him or something. And the feeling of our home started to change. Well, luckily, I kept supporting him, and I kept loving him no matter what, and I kept doing the principles that I knew would help me be a freer parent, free from stress, free from anger, free from anxiety. I kept doing the 5 teaching styles and the 4 basic skills and focusing on the principles that I needed to have in my home to be the kind of parent that I wanted, to keep the feeling there that I needed. And he saw that even though I didn't push it on him. Well, there was one point when he sat down one day on the couch and just, in total frustration. And I said to him, what do you want? And he said, what do you mean, what do I want? That's a pretty broad question. And I said, well, I mean, obviously you're frustrated right now. What do you want from the family? And he said, I just want them to do what I say. And I said, oh, I can help you with that. And I said, if you say it to them like this and just remind them that it's an instruction, then they'll do all those steps. Remember those steps to follow instruction? And he's like, oh yeah. And I said, you know what, just try it. If you remind them of that, and if they know you're going to follow those particular 4 basic skills and 5 teaching styles, they'll just do it. They'll be completely different for you. And he finally went, okay, I think I'll try it again. You know what, you're right. It was better when we used to do it that way. And so he changed back. And then there's no going back, because he realized he hated feeling that way all the time. He felt like he was constantly trying to manipulate or power struggle his children into being obedient and to strengthening a relationship. And you can't power struggle somebody into strengthening a relationship. Anyway, the moral of the story is they'll come around. They really will. You just have to give them time. And there's no reason that one parent can't parent differently than another. Sadly, the one parent that has a set government-style way of parenting, they will probably have better relationships with their children than the other parent. But you can't force a parent to choose to follow principles that will help them have stronger relationships. They have to see that it works by looking at you and find the right moment to decide to give it a try. That's how all learning goes. And some people are more stubborn than others. The one thing that I would really recommend for all couples, whether you're actually using the complete system or not, is to have couples meetings every week where you talk about how things are going with the family, and where you have open, honest communication and have a really good spirit and close relationship during that time when you discuss, where you don't pick each other apart. You just matter-of-factly talk about the things that you need to with your home and open the meeting with a prayer so that you do it all with that spirit of love.